I'm Darryl Baker, and tonight the fan carpet are feeling all Christmassy at the premiere of Nativity 2, Danger in the Manger, starring Tennant and Joanna and a whole host of British stars. We're going to get in the festive spirit and see who we can talk to and get the lowdown on this Christmas movie.
Well, the film's really it's a very warm-hearted comedy about kids and Christmas, essentially. And it's about two schools and several choirs that get locked into a competition, Song for Christmas, and the trials and tribulations of how they put it on. And I suppose there's a road movie element to it as well. And it's all about kids kind of doing their best and having fun. And it's ridiculous as well. It's utterly ridiculous, as Christmas is. It's kind of ridiculous and warm and funny and joyous and takes you by surprise, which is, I think, what the film does.
Really, really great British cast in this. How is it working with David and Joanna and Debbie?
Well, I think I've worked with David many years ago on a groundbreaking British comedy called Duck Patrol, but
I saw that on,
did you?
On Comedy World Cup.
Yeah.
The clip of it.
Oh, really? Goodness me, God, dear. Did anybody score in that game? I think David's fantastic to work with. And he's a great three-dimensional kind of actor that sits in a strange comic film. So there's lots of comedy, but he's along with the kids very much the emotional centre of it. So it's great to work with him.
It's a movie about kids, but is it a movie for kids? Who can go and see it?
Well, it's a family film. I mean, I'm reeling out a few cliches here, but it is a wonderful family film. And I often get stopped a lot. I was on holiday abroad, and somebody stopped me and said, "Oh my God, we've had Nativity and Confetti, funny enough, playing on their DVD player as they came across Europe, and they families love it. I mean, kids love it, but families particularly like it because there's a bit of everything. And I think if you've got a child who's done a nativity play or sung in a choir, they know the feeling of watching their child sing who they love, and this film really celebrates that, I think.
So it's a film that so many people can relate to.
Yeah, and deliberately so. It's a deliberately kind of popular film.
Amazing. They say never work with animals and children.
Do they? I've never heard that.
On top of that, you work with aliens, animals, children. What was it like working with a classroom full of kids?
I've seen the kids were glorious from start to finish. The kids make the film. I mean, if you've seen the first film, you'll know they're sort of the stars of the movie, and that's certainly the case again here. The donkey was trickier, I'll be honest with you. The donkey could have been more helpful, and he's very bad at improvising.
They say that about donkeys, though. There's no help to anyone.
Yeah, stubborn.
As a mule. So you wanted to be an actor from a very young age.
Yeah.
Were you sort of on site, like giving advice to the little ones about how to go about it?
Oh, I try not to give advice. That way madness lies. But actually, they're all, there's some of the kids who are just there for a laugh, some of them who want to be actors, but they're all just, they bring a sort of freshness to it, and they have a way of coming out with one-liners that defies anything that Marc and I could do. So, they make the film.
And if it wasn't enough to play one character, you're two characters in this film. Who are the two characters that you play?
I play the Peterson brothers, twins, funnily enough. One of whom is a primary school teacher, and one of whom is a sort of multi-award-winning classical musician. And they both end up entering the Song for Christmas competition. So sibling rivalry is just one of the many themes that the film explores.
I think the film's XMAS plus XFACTOR. Can you go wrong with the film without premise?
We should have that on the poster. Can I quote you?
Yeah, you can, but it's copyrighted now. So
oh, okay. I'm just going to write it on in Sharpie and see if that takes.
Is that a foolproof formula for a film?
Well,
so popular.
I have to say, having seen it, I think it is. Yeah. I mean, I defy anyone. I mean, you'd have to be flint-hearted not to laugh and cry at this film.
Do you prefer acting with your own accent, with your Scottish accent?
It depends what the character is, really. You try not to be limited by anything. You try and, when you're improvising, it's probably best not to be thinking about an accent as well. So it's probably just as well I'm Scottish in this movie.
And what are your plans for this Christmas?
I think Christmas has got to be traditional, don't you? I think that's the best way. Yeah. So I'm going to Barbados, and I'm going to.
No, traditional.
Yeah.
Through and through.
I'm not going to Barbados.
Spending it with the family, watching Nativity 1.
It's probably on, isn't it? Yeah.
What was it like for you, the journey of making this film?
Well,
Debbie's really lovely, because when I first met her, we just went and had a cup of tea and just chatted, and she said, you know, how do you feel about improvising? How would you feel about doing this? And it was just so relaxed and so lovely. And then I met up with David, and we improvised a bit with each other and saw that, you know, it was working, and we got on and everything. And then basically we then just started the film, and she said, there's nothing to panic about, nothing to worry. I'm not going to tell you anything about the story or anything about what I want. I want you to turn up on the day. I'll basically say I want this, this and this from the scene, and just get on with it. So it's quite scary at first, but then after improvising the first scene, you just sort of relax and get on with it.
Did you sort of walk away from that meeting like, yeah, no worries, I can improve, fine?
No, I remember going home and seeing James and saying, well, I think I'm working on this film. I'm not quite sure, but I think I am. And, you know, I think I improvised today and it went well, and I was all a bit like unsure, and then just massively excited then when they phoned and said, yeah, you know, we'd love you to work on it.
I mean, a fab British cast, you've been one of them.
Brilliant.
What is it like working in one of these films where people do say, wow, great British cast?
Oh, it's really, really nice, because I mean, we don't have many British films out there, and it's great that, you know, we're all British. It's a fab British film, and it's just really inspiring, and I just feel really proud to be in it.
And normally as an actor you're given a script
yes.
to prepare from, and in this scenario you didn't have one.
Yeah.
Was that strange?
Well, not really, because after like being in drama school and doing loads of improvisation, and then also when you do have a script, you're always sort of thinking loads of things in your head anyway when you're not speaking, so it's sort of just like that really. And then it was really nice just turning up, making stuff up, and thinking, well, if I know my character, what they want out of this situation, then I'll know what to say. And then it's great going home in the evening and getting to watch the telly and have a beer and not have to panic about learning lines for the next day. You just turn up and make it up.
Tell me what it was like filming this movie.
Well, we didn't have
it was a lot of fun.
We went along, but we had
yeah, it was fun working with David and Mr. Poppy and Joanna Page. It was great.
Were you fans of those before working with them?
Yes.
And of course, if you're working with Doctor Who, what more could you want?
What you've always wanted to do?
Yeah, I think that was my vocation. I want to be an actor. I want to perform. I love the stage. I'm not camera shy.
And this film was an improvised script.
Yes.
Yes,
it was actually. Same as the first one was improvised. The whole thing was improvised.
How did you overcome difficulties with that one?
I just went with the flow.
And what is next to you then? What are we going to see next in your career then?
Lots and lots and lots of more Oscars and films. So.
Am I going to see you get an Oscar?
Yeah.
And when you do, I'm going to say into that. So, we'll come back for a second outing to St Bernadette, because one just wasn't enough.
Wasn't enough.
What made you do a sequel?
I think because we really loved, all of us loved making the first film, and obviously it went down well and people loved it too, so why wouldn't you really? There was more to tell, the more Mr. Poppy, more kids, and we knew we'd need a new teacher, so there was just another story there I think that needed telling.
Is it a natural progression that David Tennant comes in as a teacher over Martin Freeman's role this term?
Yeah, well Martin wasn't available, and David, you know, he's such a brilliant actor. I've been dying to work with him, and I was so thrilled when he agreed to do it, and because it's all improvised, he threw himself into that process, and I just think he's fantastic.
What makes you decide on an improvised script? Is that not daunting and scary?
It's terrifying, but it's such fun. I mean, it just keeps everything very creative and unexpected, and so it's all fresh and alive, and you never know what's going to happen next. But at the end of the day, if the actors know their characters really well, they just live it, we get on with it, and we make it real, and I think that's what works about improvising.
And I think this time it's sort of XMAS meets the X Factor. You wrote the songs for the end. How did you come up with the songs? Because they're not necessarily that Christmassy, because they're Ibiza tunes.
Yeah, I suppose it's trying to come up with ideas for new Christmas songs. You know, if you were writing a Christmas number one, what kind of song might you write? So we came up with as many variety as possible, really. We wanted a country one, and we wanted as you say, an Ibiza dance one, and we just sort of threw everything into the hat and wrote these songs. And the kids that sing them are absolutely brilliant, so we're loving it. Yeah.
And even if people haven't seen the first Nativity, why should they go out and see Nativity 2?
Well, actually, we made that film with those people in mind. We didn't want people to have to have seen the first Nativity, and I don't think you do. I think you go with just wanting a good time. It's really funny, really laugh out loud, brilliant actors, funny kids, the odd donkey who's absolutely brilliant. If you want to see an abseiling donkey, go and see Nativity 2. What is Christmas without an abseiling donkey?
This film's got a really great British cast.
But as they always have, they roll us out again, don't they? You know what I mean?
Is it important to you to do these British films, these homegrown talent films?
I love doing British films, especially this one because it was an improvised film. We turn up on that day and there's no script, so it's pretty unnerving. It's a baptism of fire. So you know.
Even a professional like you does.
Oh, you sweet old-fashioned thing. Yeah, no, I get very nervous on the day, but working with people like David Tennant, it's a joy. So there you go.
It's obviously a Christmas film. Are you in the Christmas spirit yet?
Christmas film, absolutely. Bought presents, done it all so far. No, I got a little far ahead. What can you do with Marks and Spencer's? It's all there.
And why should people go out and see this film this Christmas?
Well, I think they'll have a jolly good time. It's a really good feel-good film. There's some great performances in it. I mean, I've seen a sort of rough cut of it, and I loved it. I mean, there's a lot of fun in it.
Amazing.
There's a lot of fun in it.
What made you want to?
Debbie Issit, as I've said. Is it or Issit? I don't know. Who cares? Issit. She's great. She's a phenomenal person, director. I love her tenacity and determination. She's kind of brings to British cinema this sort of like unashamed like joy in what people love, you know, which is children going, you know, and donkeys flying and tinsel. And I mean, my relationship with her has started way back when she was trying to get confetti off the ground, and we started to collaborate then. And then I was in confetti, and then now it's a fantastic privilege to be able to come back and do a second film with her, because I think she's one of the best filmmakers we have. She look at this, you know, she's got such a kind of weight of support and fan behind her, and her films do amazingly well. So
being involved with British films, British actors and directors, important to you?
No.
No,
I don't care about that. I love working anyway, but what's more important to me is that I have a connection with a person, and with Debbie I have a connection with her because I respect her totally. I respect her balls.
In a sequel. Who is Miss Poppy? His name's Desmond Poppy. He's an adult, but he's pretty much a child, really. He's Arrested Development case. You know, he's someone who's stuck and he's looping in that little area of not perhaps graduating to be an adult until he's ready. And I think he wants to connect with an adult, which is what this film's all about. He wants to try and make friends with Mr. Peterson. Having lost in the original film, he loses his best friend, Mr. Maddens, because he goes off to be in The Hobbit. He's gone to be in The Hobbit. So, yeah, that's who Mr. Poppy is. This is nice, isn't it? Isn't this?
Right, so the film is that they go on this road trip.
Yeah.
And it's all Mr. Poppy, sort of madcap.
I'm right, how you doing?
Is it like filming with kids and unscripted?
I like to say it's really difficult, but genuinely it's amazing. Not necessarily easy, that sounds cocky, but it's just a really heartwarming, thoroughly wholesome experience, because you're working with great people, and the children are the greatest of all because they're so instinctive. Their response to anything you say is from inside, so they just respond. Children don't process in the way adults do. They just say what is on their mind, and I think we can learn a lot from them. But certainly I learn a lot when I'm spending a couple of months with children every day and realising all the things we worry about as grown-ups and get concerned about aren't really important, and if you can just connect to the moment, that's great. And improvising is all about being in the moment. Working with those children is about being in the moment. Animals are a bit of a drag, but kids are great.
And you're a comic actor, you also love comedy. What's the style of not being scripted, genuinely something you enjoy?
Massively, yeah. No, I just finished a new series that comes out on BBC 3 in January with Blake Harrison from The Inbetweeners, and it was really a real eye-opener to remember again about the whole, okay, you're going to do this umpteen times, we're going to do it from various different angles. It's about the art of learning and being able to replicate a performance, whereas Debbie never does a second take. We just improvise all the time, and that's a joy because there is no lines. You're just doing what is inside.
It's more than just a Christmas movie. Why should people go and see it this festive period?
Why should people go and see it? Well, because there's nothing else to really see. They should. There's no sort of I don't have to sell it. It sells itself.